Welcome to the Monday Monologue. Well, today I want to touch on something that I really thought about after seeing multiple comments, actually over the years, about this, talking about like XYZ is a waste of money. And the recent one that came up was a user talking about how they thought that Rune was a waste of money. And I agree that you really do have to watch what you're subscribing to and those sorts of things, but in the scheme of things, $15 a month for an audio service isn't a lot of money. And this is a hobby. I mean, to be looking at your expenses into a hobby as being a waste of money or not, of course it's a waste of money. It's a freaking hobby. Like, that's what you're doing, is you're spending money on something that is not required. Like, got food, shelter, unfortunately, insurance, mortgage payments, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's stuff you've got to spend money on. Audio gear is not something you have to spend money on. You got a phone, you go buy some $20 earbuds and you can listen to music. Or go buy a Bluetooth speaker and you can have music playing in your house. All this audio gear is a waste of money. This is a waste of money. That's a waste of money. You can go buy an angel horn turntable for $100 that's got a phono preamp built into it, and you can be spinning vinyl. Spending $1,000 on a tube phono preamp is a waste of money if you look at it through those eyes. And one of the things that I've discovered, and I learned about it dealing with camera equipment or bicycles when I was back doing that thing and buying, low-end bikes, that you spend more money upgrading something like that than if you just gone and bought something nice to start with. I've bought several $1,000s of mid-tier DACs because I didn't want to spend $5,000 or $8,000 on a really high-end DAC, and never been happy with any of them. And ended up selling them for pennies on the dollar for what I paid for them, because I didn't want to pony up and buy a good one. Same thing with the Degritter 2 record cleaner, and I haven't really done a follow-up on that. That Degritter 2 record cleaner is amazing. What it does to even new vinyl records is one of the biggest upgrades that I've done to my system. And especially now, it's opened the door for being able to buy secondhand vinyl and not having to worry about, is it clean? Is it full of surface noise and like embedded dirt that a normal cleaning isn't going to get out? I've got records that were unlistenable. They had so much noise in them that running them through one cycle of the Degritter makes some fantastic sounding vinyl. I bought some new vinyl recently that I was stunned at how much more clarity there was. And I'm telling you, it's the difference between like a $200 phono cartridge and a $2,000 phono cartridge getting the record clean. And it fixes every record. And I know there were a lot of comments about, yeah, I bought the Hummingbird Guru and it's just as good. Guys, it's not the same product. It doesn't do the same thing. It's got a different frequency that it cleans at, which affects the performance of how deep in the groove it can get. It's 1/4 of the power as far as the ultrasonic transducers. And it can't do the same job. It's not possible. And I have a feeling that would have been one of those things that if I tried to save some money and get the cheaper version of what a known good one is, that would have been a waste of money, because I would have spent money on this product, ended up selling it for a quarter of what I paid for it, so I could go buy the real deal. And that's kind of what I was going to get to on my Monday monologue rant today, is the real waste of money is buying equipment that is below your expectation level, hoping you're finding a giant killer. And they don't exist. I know there's YouTube channels that are devoted to showing you or telling you that this $200 amp is as good as this $20,000 one. And by the way, here's the affiliate link. And they're just wasting your money selling you that stuff. So the next thing today I wanted to talk about was an update on my music room. And I do feel like that I've kind of gotten to a point with my audio system where the next upgrade is the room itself. And some of you may have a room that works really well and that you've got to work, doing some room treatments and stuff without having to build a new room. I put a lot of thought into this, and there's really not a room in my house currently that will be ideal to transforming into a really nice listening room. Plus, I want to build a workshop to be able to move all of this stuff out into my new building that's going to be out in the backyard to free up my house and have some extra space. And so that's coming along. I did hire the audio engineering firm, and I want to talk to them first about what they're okay with me releasing as far as, what their rights are to their work product and copyrights and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to violate our agreement, and there's a lot of lawyer language in it that, I know I can build something from these plans, but I don't think I can share the plans with the public. But I'm pretty sure I can tell you kind of generally what I'm doing and kind of show y'all the construction techniques I'm using and stuff like that. So that's going along well. Talked with the city. They're all okay with the plans. I don't have to get any special use permits or, conditional uses or anything like that, or go before the council to get things approved, that it's all by right. So that's all good stuff. The surveyor came out and measured the property. They're doing their thing. I should get the detailed survey with elevations and all that stuff back here soon. So I'm still thinking that I'll have ground broke by this fall and hopefully have this room completely finished, if not by the end of the year, the start of next year. And I have watched a lot of videos with other YouTubers that are building listening rooms. Jay's Audio did one. GR Research has done one, or is working on one. New Record Day's done one. And Robert Haley also has done one. And from watching these videos, I'm not seeing any of these folks that actually are having the room checked out or designed by an audio engineer until after they've built the room, and then they're trying to treat the problems with it. And I'm trying to design the room so that it's got minimal problems with the design just right out of the gate, since I'm building something from scratch. And so I don't have any constraints about, the width and height, the ratios and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm fixing to do a video going into more detail about that, but that's an update on that deal. Got some preamps getting built and all that stuff. I need to test those Kit monoblocks. I've listened to them a little bit. You saw the testing on them and found a little problem with that diode. And kudos to them. Mr. Vachito is going to be including that diode change in the new kits going forward. And they're going to send out the diodes with instructions to people that previously bought the kit. I don't know. They seem to think that it's got something to do with the USA only kits that are running with higher B plus voltage and that kind of thing. And I'm not going to go back and test it and play with the Variac and take the boards back. I mean, I'm just glad that they were able to test and see the same thing I was, and that they're updating the kits. So that's all good stuff for everybody. And from what I'm hearing from the initial testing, they sound really good. But like I said, I've heard them before at lower volume levels, and they sound great. Really can't run them or listen to them at high sound pressure levels or high power levels until I get my room finished, where it's going to be a bigger room with lower efficiency speakers. And that's one of the reasons we're doing that, so we can test all sorts of gear. And the plan is to be able to test speakers and amplifiers and stuff out in the larger listening room, but then also bring them into a smaller space. And then I can say, yeah, in a larger room, these speakers work really well. In a small room, probably not the best plan. And so I think that way I can cater to both kind of audience, people that have smaller rooms and folks that have bigger rooms. So anyway, trying to think of what else is going on. Dolly's doing much better. They've got her on a once a month shot for her arthritis, and her mobility has gotten a lot better, and she seems to be enjoying life again. She was just kind of touch and go there. I wasn't sure whether she was having any quality of life there a few months ago. And anyway, for you dog lovers out there, Dolly's doing great. And so happy that she's doing better. I'm doing better. I've gotten past all my medical issues. And so that's all positive stuff. And yeah, just got home from a really nice audio club meeting. If you've got an audio club in your area, you should go check it out. It's fun hanging out with folks and meeting friends, and we're going to do a thing this August where people can go around to different people's houses and listen to their systems. So that's going to be fun. And I've got my room upstairs sounding pretty good. Still going to do some tweaks on it and that sort of thing. And working on my digital front end. I got the Roon server up and running on a Rock, the little small mini computer. That turned out great. And I've got a FiOS endpoint that I'm using that's, it's okay. We're going to be playing around with different endpoints and see if we can improve on that. Right now, the CD still sounds way better than the streaming does. And so we've definitely got a high benchmark to meet there. And one thing we haven't done in a while is some music selections. And first, if you've never heard these Pablo records, they're really good. And most of these are super well mastered, super well recorded, and nice quiet vinyl. This one, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, by Count Basie, Oscar Peterson, Louis Bellson, and John Hurd. This is some really fun jazz music and definitely worth checking out. So here's suggestion number one. I'm not a big fan of all that Pablo music, or Pablo stuff, but that one's really good. Emmett Cohen, Universal Truth. Honestly, I can't even remember where this came from. And I was looking through my pile of vinyl that I haven't listened to, been backed up and listening to stuff. It's a sealed copy of this that I got from somewhere. This is really awesome. And, I don't even, like I said, it's got Emmett Cohen on the piano, Joe Farnsworth on the drums, and Ron Carter's on the bass. Just, a couple of folks on saxophone. Check it out. This is a really great album. And this copy I've got sounds super clean. It's from Mac Avenue Music Group. No idea. Like I said, I saw some of this stuff on Facebook Marketplace or Facebook, ad would come up and say, here, you want to check this out? And I'd go listen to it and say, hey, that sounds pretty good. And I'd go buy it. That may be where this comes from. But anyway, this is a great album. Go check it out. So that's my music selections for this week. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for the video today. Hope you're enjoying the channel. If you are, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 25K by this summer. We're getting close. You folks that are watching my videos, haven't subscribed yet, it's free. Click the button. Just makes the channel grow, which is important for me to keep doing this. And thanks to you members, you Patreon supporters, other folks that have made direct donations or bought my products. I appreciate all of you guys. And we will see you next week for the Monday Monologue.